ask Garen Walker to give our invocation, and before he does, I want to brag a little bit about him. We've been more Facebook friends than anything. He goes to Fort Valley State, and at some point, I hope he comes back to take a leadership role in the city of Monroe. Just a good person, great outlook, great disposition, and I was at First AB, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months ago, and he actually preached the sermon on Zoom because he'd had I'm gonna say a long night the night before. He was working with a bunch of kids late night the night before, so he couldn't make it up in time, but just an outstanding person. I'm glad you're here, Garen.
Thank you.
And we will bow our heads just for you.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As Mayor Howard stated, I'm Garen Walker, a native of Monroe, Georgia, a current graduate student at Mercer University in the College of Professional Advancement, and now an employee of Fort Valley State University. And it gives me great honor to bring the invocation for the November City Council meeting. And thank you, Mayor Howard, for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Please bow your heads for a word of prayer. As we gather in unity for this City of Monroe Council meeting, we come together with grateful hearts, recognizing the responsibility and privilege we must contribute to the well-being of our community. We invoke guidance from the source of all wisdom as we embark on the important work set before us. May our decisions be guided by compassion, justice, and a deep commitment to the betterment of our beloved city. In this diverse community, we acknowledge and celebrate the differences that make us stronger. Let us approach our deliberations with open minds and understanding, valuing the perspectives that each member brings to this council. Grant our leaders the wisdom to seek common ground, the humility to admit when we're wrong, and the courage to make decisions that benefit all residents of the city of Monroe. May our efforts be fueled by a spirit of cooperation, goodwill, and a genuine desire to serve. We offer this prayer with gratitude for the dedication of our leaders, the hard work of our citizens, and the spirit of community that defines this city of Monroe. May our collective endeavors be blessed with success and harmony. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Garen. Now, if you'll come this way for me, and I'm going to borrow that phone, that camera. You don't have to come to the back. I'm just going to take it from here of you two. I can let her not get in the picture. Thank y'all so much for being here. I had no idea.
Do I? Oh, I got to see if I can find it.
Oh, Lord.
I know. Who would want this? All right, let's call this meeting to order of the November 14th City Council meeting for the City of Monroe. I'll let the record reflect that we have a quorum. I believe Mr. Gregory's on the phone. Tyler, are you there?
I am.
Great, thank you. Miss Malcolm will not be here tonight. I've not heard from Mr. Boyce or Miss Crawford yet. Myosha does tend to work late and may be coming in just a few minutes. I need a motion for the approval of the agenda, please.
So moved.
I have a motion by Mr. Little. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, David.
You're welcome.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Spirited crowd tonight. Approval of the consent agenda. This is the council meeting minutes from last month and the September Planning Commission, Downtown Development Authority, and Convention and Visitors Bureau minutes as well. I need a motion for the approval of the consent agenda, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
I'm going to give that one to Mr. Bradley. Thank you, Larry. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. I will say that on our public presentations, we have Monroe Hurricanes recognition. Coach Boyce, Mr. Chaz Boyce is coach of the basketball team, and They went to nationals. I mean, just a rock star of a team. At the same time, Brian Jernigan, with the assistant coach Jeremiah Still, that 10 and under boys Hurricanes team, I'm also going to invite for next month. They just won another championship, and what's coming up now? Super Bowl Saturday at 3 o'clock. And this would be the third year in a row you won the Super Bowl? Second. Okay. Team hadn't lost a game in a while. So exciting things in our youth sports scene. Walton Teen Advocacy Board, I have Delana and Destin here. Tish, did you want me to introduce you first? You want to give us a rundown, or do you want me to just call the girls up? Okay, well, come on up.
Eli's going to get our presentation running there.
Okay.
So I'm Tisha, I'm Finn, I'm with the Walton Youth Advocacy Board, and what we do is we have a group of 25 teens and young adults, college-age students, who listen to stakeholders in our community and who develop grassroots initiatives to benefit the county. What we're working on lately is we've had, just this fall, a lot of opportunities to serve the community. One is, of course, there it is. We, if you could, thank you. We hosted a STEM event at Carver Middle. We hosted a suicide prevention event at Social Circle High School. We just received some funding for a board retreat called Mind and Muscle Merge, which is with our local CrossFit gym. And we spoke in front of the largest crowd we've ever spoken in front of at Loganville Middle, where the kids here, Delana is one of them, provided a vape-free presentation for that. So you can see we kind of just listen to what people want and then try to put those resources in place. But I am going to hand off to Delana. There is another video here, Eli. If it's loud, we can turn it down a little bit. Mayor Howard wanted us to bring some actual lip syncers in. We were unable to make that work. So what we did is we showed a little video from our event that we hosted in Carver, and that's just up there in the top corner. So we'll let that play first, and then we'll let Delana speak. Let the whole thing play. Just go back one.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, Eli.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Delana's not up here standing in front of us as we're all staring at her. Wait. Yeah, okay. Now, what are you going to talk about?
Sorry. Okay. Thank you, first of all, so much for having me. Okay. I'm not the one doing that, am I?
I think that's Eli just messing with you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. I want to say thank you guys, first of all, for having me. I really appreciate it. I'm going to be talking about our idea for a talent show fundraiser. And we think that it's an excellent way to not only raise money, but it also allows us to give some attention to fine arts, because we know that a lot of times fine arts gets looked over by STEM projects. So our idea is that participants from the community will sign up, and they'll either participate as solo groups or they'll participate by themselves. And their job would be to collect sponsorship and votes. The participants would just basically perform as part of the talent show and singing, and they would have a lot of fun, and that would raise money for us. We've already recruited a 12-person Walton Youth Project committee, and we've talked to a few people that would help us create the final details for that. Okay, could somebody mute that, please? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we already have a couple of places that have volunteered to host that for us. For example, Carver Middle School volunteered to host it because they already did an event like this similar in the past, and you have their poster right behind you guys. And they've agreed to also host this year's event, which is super useful. There's multiple ways we plan on getting this across. We have a social media page, and that's been useful for past projects. So there would be QR codes that people can scan to sign up, and overall, it would work really well, but we can also spread through word of mouth. We've got posters, and that kind of thing would help us raise money, and it would just be fun for the middle schoolers, the high schoolers, and the groups such as. Thank you.
Okay, so
Questions?
is it all lip sync or is it other talent as well?
It is all lip sync.
Okay, I'm going to put it on the spot while we're here on the public record.
Okay, thank you.
I'm volunteering Dessa Morris. with
Okay,
Walton
you're
County
immediately
Development Authority.
volunteering.
So she's your first participant.
Okay.
Oh, yeah? We'll get that after the meeting.
I think your thing died.
Okay, and.
Here's a QR code, so she could sign up.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, any more questions?
Do we have any questions?
Okay,
No, ma'am, thank you,
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
I'm gonna pass it off.
And Destin, you come share a little bit? Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's see. Do it not working?
Eli, can you make it move forward?
So while we wait, you want to go ahead and start
I
talking?
can
and-
introduce myself. I am Destin Avery. I am a Monroe Area High School senior, graduating the class of 2024.
Awesome.
So everyone in your seat, you actually have a QR code for this presentation if you'd like to follow it on your phone if you're not able to bring it up. And council members, you have a packet that has it printed. There we go.
There go me. So tonight I am presenting the Heirloom Alley Garden, which is an idea presented by, I guess we're not gonna see my slides. So the Heirloom Alley Garden was an idea presented by Walton County Youth Project's very own Secretary, Mr. Mitch Alligood. Our plans are to utilize the Spring and Wayne Street Alley to turn it into something more than just a blank slate. As we know, alley gardens have historically been underutilized, but with Monroe becoming a more urban, beautiful place, we hope to add water reclamation, flowers, plant tags, as well as trash cans and cigarette receptacles to the area just to keep our beautiful downtown district clean and sustainable. The Walton County Youth Project Heirloom Garden Committee has already begun working to receive funds to make this project more like a reality. Thank you for listening. I guess we can go through the slides just to show you guys kind of like a rough draft of what we were thinking to do. We were gonna add like flower pots to like the window overheads and repaint the trash can. If he could move on in the slide just to show you guys what we were thinking as far as plans.
Okay.
And the 3D printed tags, since we were thinking about doing a parents' night out, the students that would have been present during that time would have got the opportunity to help us 3D print the plant tags, and all of our plants will come from like family gardens and such. I think it's one more slide. So it'll just basically add on to our current beautification of downtown Monroe. And that's basically it.
That is fantastic. Thank you so much. I saw Barbara Bastion's involved, right? And so I'm sure there's been already some discussion with DDA, but we'll definitely need to take that step. But we'll do more, and this is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Destin?
Any questions?
We'll come up with those later and
Thank
get back
you.
to you. Thank you so much for coming in. Yes, ma'am. Now, if you decide you want to stay for the whole meeting, you're more than welcome. Some people can get long-winded. Sorry, Norman, that's me. But feel free, you don't have to stay the whole time. Feel free to leave if you so desire. Moving forward to business items, city administrator update. Mr. Probst.
All right, thank you, Mayor.
I'm sorry.
There's public
I'm skipping over public comment. Robbie Vaughn. You're first on the list. We do have for discussion, the way this works, we have discussion with council only that is coming up on the agenda. But if you want to go ahead and tell us what you're wanting, and hopefully you'll sit through it, the council discussion part as well.
Okay, my name is Robbie Vaughn. I'm the widower of Michael Etchison, and the road says Michael Etchison. And I would like to add Lieutenant Michael Etchison on the road, so everybody will know when they come in town. We have a lot of newcomers coming in, and they wonder, well, who is Michael Etchison? Why is his name up there? So I want you to put Lieutenant Michael Etchison so they will know that he was the only one that died in the line of duty and gave his life. He paid the ultimate price for his life. So I would like for you all to do that for me. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, and we'll be revisiting that in just a few minutes, and hope you'll stick around for us.
Any questions? You're going to revisit? Okay.
Right, everybody knows Michael Etchison, everybody knows the story, loves your family, so, yeah, we'll come back to that in just a few minutes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Latasha Jones. Hey, Ms. Jones, how are you? Good, thank you. I don't have a topic on here, so fire away.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for giving me this few minutes. I wanted to talk about, can I put this down a little bit? I'm short.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to talk a little bit about the intersection around 138 and Spring Street, sorry. On October 19th, my father was driving down Spring Street. He turns onto 138, and then all of a sudden, out of Chick-fil-A, somebody, high traffic time, 3:30 to 4, somebody's trying to gun it across the road. He's on a motorcycle. They pull out. He didn't have time to blink, and he didn't survive. I was really, really pleased that my father was very loved. There was a lot of people calling, I think, the city and talking about, how dangerous kind of that intersection is, and somebody within the city had responded to the newspaper, which put it out on social media, which I really, really appreciated. The response made a lot of sense. When you're zoning out stuff and businesses are bringing, it's hard to predict or even to make decisions or even to find funding for decisions on the future. Everything's done on the right now.
Right.
So I appreciate that. I know that this is a Department of Transportation issue, but I also believe that the city of Monroe has some influence on that. And I think that there are possibly, it's not my area of expertise, but I believe that there could be some short-term solutions for that area, like making it against the law to turn left between high traffic times. You see that a lot. Like if you're coming down Davis Street, you can't turn left onto Broad Street or whatever that is, between 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. So there are definitely better solutions, quicker solutions that would make that intersection safe, because everybody seems to love Chick-fil-A, and I know I love Starbucks, and so it's not a lot of ways to get out of that, and it's just a tragedy for a lot of people, and I think if you guys could.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your father, and yes, ma'am, you are correct, it is a state issue, and I don't know that the city can or cannot make any decisions based on ingress or egress to that road, but, and I do, it's the reason this council decisions are so important with a forward-thinking outlook. When that was originally built, it was Los Three. It was a Mexican restaurant, and that was also, I don't think we ever had any inkling that much traffic was going to hit that intersection.
Correct.
And I make a point telling all the high school kids that I know, don't let me see you taking left out of here. I will call your parents. It's an extra 2 minutes if you drive around the other way. I'm totally on board with you, and we've asked DOT to come out. They have told us in the areas of Michael Etchison and Chick-fil-A, they've told us it's driver error. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But that doesn't mean you need to put up with those types of errors. So we're going to see what we can do. We can't put a light there. We're encouraging some businesses that are there to maybe look for moving into alternate locations as well.
I have seen Chick-fil-A move before in different areas to improve the traffic in the situation, so I do know that that is a possibility. And I do know that you guys don't make any decisions, but I do believe you guys have some kind of influence. And that's a 2-lane,
Right.
you know, and they built out that whole Five Below, and that's exactly where my dad, he was going to Five Below to pick up something. He was going on a men's retreat the next day, never made it home, so.
Well, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss.
But anyway, if you guys just don't forget.
No, we will not, I promise.
All right, thank you.
I was actually going to hit on that in my report a little bit.
Okay. Yes, ma'am, thank you. Now, we have a number of folks who are here who may have signed in and not been able to sign in. Typically, that happens on the public comments. Do I have anybody here who'd like to make a public comment that had not signed in? Okay. We'll move directly to Logan Propost's report.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Mine is pretty much transportation influenced, but one of the items I was going to talk about was that intersection at Starbucks and Chick-fil-A and 138. So late last week, I had conversation with our engineer and some GDOT officials, trying to get them to, take a fresh look at all the data there. Unfortunately, we had another tragedy there. But I believe we're starting to get some traction with GDOT to understand that something needs to be done there. The city does not control the driveway, curb cuts and all, but as the lady said, we do have some influence to keep pushing. So they are taking a look at that intersection. Additionally, they're looking at a whole project from Michael Etchison Road all the way down to what is currently the eastbound on-ramp at the terminus of 138 right there, to see what kind of traffic improvements can be done the entire length. So it's being programmed for engineering right now. And as you know, these things take a lot of time. GDOT's very slow, takes a lot of money, but nevertheless, it is in the process right now. So that's there. Additionally, at Michael Etchison Road and 138, I'm working with them and our engineer on pushing for a true green arrow from both sides of the road. There's a lot of risk-taking there, and as you said, Mayor, everything points to driver error. We get that. It's all driver error, but it's a highly congested intersection, traffic backs up, people take a lot of risk. So we feel confident that we'll at least get a time of use green arrow. So it'll probably be from, about the time school starts to maybe 7 p.m. It may be 7A to 7 p, somewhere in there, however that data aligns. So it's going to take a little bit of time, but we're moving through all of the requisite processes there for that. Additionally, we're pushing for signalization at 11 and 78. This is another, multi-year push with GDOT. Had good conversations with the safety group out of Atlanta. And again, this may be another time of use signal because it's not meeting full warrant at each of the off-ramps and on-ramp throughout all 12 hours of the daytime use, but it is meeting several hours, so we might be able to work something out there. So we're going to keep pushing for that to get signalized. We've made some additional improvements with the eastbound on-ramp. That's open now. Westbound on-ramp, if you haven't been out there near the pavilion, is under heavy construction now. I'm told it may be ready for Q2 of 24, so that should help move traffic along. And then our bypass project, it's moving along, and Rodney's about to get ready for some utility relocations throughout that whole project. So a lot of work to be done there, but it is moving along. And you may have seen recently some new traffic signals hung on West Spring Street at Breedlove Drive. In the next couple weeks, they tell me they should have it restriped and ready to go for a new kind of turn lane and through lane. with some new turn signals put in there. So that should help alleviate a lot of the traffic and confusion of, is there a right turn lane onto Breedlove Drive? We don't know. Nobody really seems to know that. So we asked GDOT, gosh, it was almost 3 years ago, I'm going back through my emails today, when we started those conversations about just getting that done. So understand, we are working on all of these things, transportation related. It just takes a lot of time with the Department of Transportation.
Thank you, Logan. Are there any questions for Mr. Probst? Hearing none, we'll move to Chris Bailey.
Thank you, and I'll keep this pretty quick. Pierce Giles had come in, earlier this year, maybe first quarter or so, and talked about the safety on East Maryville and requested that we put a guardrail there. That is now complete. It took, kind of alluding to what Logan said, dealing with engineers and whatnot, everything takes quite a while to engineer and get it done properly. But that is installed. I've talked with him, so he is happy. He's aware. Leaf season is ongoing. It is, it'll get worse by the day, and we'll get backed up, but we will get caught up, and we're following our solid waste collection routes. And we'll continue through the end of February, and then after that, it'll be by call and what needs to be gathered towards the end of the season. Matthews Park tomorrow evening, we'll get trout once again this year, which was something that was a good success this past year, and you can go out and catch those during the wintertime. October 22nd at the airport, we had the Extra Special People Fall Fest move to Monroe, like I had said. They raised $89,000 for the ESP organization to use for their summer camps and their different camps that they send their kids and their attendees to. And then last thing I've got, Childers Park, Thursday night, 6 o'clock will be, I believe it's our 5th annual Bikes, Trikes, and Magical Lights Parade. So if you got kiddos or you know somebody that's got kiddos, have them decorate up their wagons, their tricycles, their bicycles, and come out and join us, and we'll keep fingers crossed that the weather holds up. And I'll be glad to take any questions.
Are there any questions for Chris? Thank you, Mr. Bailey. Moving to department request, utilities bid award for the 2022 CDBG. Rodney?
Thank you, sir. Asking for your approval or the bid award to James Warren and Associates for the 2022 CDBG. This was a little over 4,000 feet of sewer rehab on Glen Iris, Stowers, and portions of Bryant and Edwards. And it also replaces the service lines to 67 homes. And it also, this bid, the low bid was $1,628,036.20. And it includes the milling and asphalt of those streets named. So that was a low bid.
Thank you, Rodney. Are there any questions for Mr. Middlebrooks?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
I don't have a question, but I would like to recuse myself from this vote.
Okay. Thank you, Tyler. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Little. Is there a second?
Second.
Give that one to David. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Thank you, Rodney. Moving to new business, preliminary plat for River's Edge, Father Christmas. Brad?
Then, I don't know what to say to that, but that is absurd. Okay, so this is a preliminary plat for River's Edge Phase 1. This was approved by the city council back in August of 2021. They are back in front of city council for a renewal of their preliminary plat. They've been before planning commission. Planning commission's recommendation is approval as submitted. There's no corrections required.
Thank you, Brad. Are there any questions for Mr. Callender? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradley. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Back to you, Brad, for Carson Point preliminary plat.
This is a preliminary plat for a new project that you had just recently approved a rezoning for back in August of this year. for a planned residential development. It's 5 lots. The preliminary plat was submitted. No corrections were required, and the planning commission's recommendation is approval as submitted.
That's outstanding. Thank you. Are there any questions for Brad? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Little. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Back to you, Brad. Final plat for the Overlook at Monroe. Overlook of Monroe.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a final plat for the townhomes, the Overlook of Monroe project there on South Madison, at 319 South Madison Avenue. It's for 7 townhomes. They're proposing to access those townhomes from a rear driveway that will be alley serving. Basically, these townhomes, they'll be facing outwards towards Madison and Millage. It was a conditional use permit approved by council some number of years ago. The final plat is ready, it's complete, and the recommendation is approval as submitted.
Thank you, Brad. Are there any questions for Mr. Callender? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion to approve by Mr. Dickinson. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradley. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Tyler. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the renewal of the health and ancillary insurance, Logan Probst.
All right, thank you, Mayor. We just recently got in our numbers from MSI Benefits Group for our 2024 health and ancillary insurances. As you know, we are mostly self-funded with some reinsurances. I think I've briefed you on this just the other day. But ultimately, we're seeing some increases, pretty large increases, based on some high one-off health claims. But even so, our plan is performing with an aggregate loss ratio of only 71%. So it's not terrible overall outside of those large one-off claims that you really can't do anything about. So we'll see some fixed cost increase by over 2% next year. And we're setting a specific stop-loss reinsurance at $80,000. So that's going up $10,000 this year. And the per-employee cost is going to be $16,670 for the benefits. It's pretty substantial benefit for our employees. But we are asking our employees to pay 2%, an additional 2% on these contributions next year. So fairly reasonable increase, trying to hold the line for everybody in this high inflationary environment. But total allocation will be $3,684,084, and we have that in the proposed 2024 budget.
Thank you, Logan. Are there any questions for Mr. Probst?
No question, but just a comment, and that's that I've just been real happy the last several years that been able to keep employees' health insurance at a reasonable rate while many other people have been seeing sky-high increases. So I know this is some increase now, but I think cities to be commended on how well they've held down costs over the last few years. And with that, I will make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Bradley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Little. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. That passes. Moving to the second reading of the Development Regulations Text Amendment Number 7. Are there any questions regarding the ordinance? Does council wish to have the ordinance read? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, David. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Nathan. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everybody. That passes. Motion carries. Moving to discussion for the street name change, Michael Etchison Road to Lieutenant Michael Etchison Road. We've been doing some studying on this. Logan, you want to go ahead and take this?
Yeah, so this just kind of came up late last week, and I really haven't had a chance to dig into it much until today, really. I don't think anybody disagrees with the name change at all. However, there are some procedures I think we're going to have to jump through that we haven't gone through with the last two renamings, which there are technically 0 addresses on those two streets. So looking more at this one, it's probably 90% in Walton County's territory. So we're gonna have to get some reciprocal agreement with Walton County, which probably shouldn't be too hard. But I would also recommend a public hearing from both sides, our side and Walton County, because there's at least 54 addresses along Michael Etchison Road that could be affected. And so we want to make sure that everything is kosher with, you know, the 911 system, the CAD system, all the street maps. Everything's got to be updated because this is a little bit more of a robust road or street than we had over here for the renaming of South Jackson and at Day Street.
And due to being in such a litigious society right now, I really wanted to just put the LT on the sign and be done with it, because it's still Michael Etchison. But once you find out that UPS does not deliver a package, or new police, new fire, new med calls, anything like that, or to disregard the address with just because we add it to the street sign, we're gonna have to jump through more hoops. I think it's gonna be a slam dunk. I can't imagine anybody being against it, but it's not gonna be one that we can just turn over immediately. I don't know the next step, whether that's the public hearing with the county first and then us, or us and the county. We think the road name changed to Michael Etchison from, what was it?
Southern Poultry Company County Road.
In the early 90s.
70s probably, 70s.
70s, sorry. And it was all in the county then. So we've annexed some stuff, so a couple of addresses are from us, and most of the addresses are from the county. But I don't think it's gonna be anything to knock out difficult. It's just going to be the extra steps. Do you have any other comments?
So I'll make contact with the county manager and see if we can coordinate some efforts there, if that's agreeable with everybody.
Yeah, we need to move forward with doing it, so.
Oh, yeah, I agree. So, yeah, we're on it. But Robbie, thank you for coming and talking about that. And I've also talked to Chief Watts about putting that bench out front with Michael's name on it. And I would say that's going to be next week, but we're on it. It's just another one of those things that ends up taking more time. All right, so thank y'all so much for coming in. Moving to district items. Ms. Malcolm's not here, Ms. Crawford's not here, Mr. Boyce not here. Larry Bradley.
I have none.
Normie Garrett.
Nope.
Tyler Gregory.
I'm good, thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you. Nathan Little.
No.
David Dickinson.
Nothing further?
Okay. Well, good news. I have a couple. I just want to say thank you, Tyler, specifically to you and Beth and Logan. Yesterday's budget process was the quickest budget process we've had in our one meeting in the 6 years that I've been here. And I know it was a lot of work up front to allow us to do that. So thank you. Next, talking about the events we have coming up, Bikes, Trikes, Magical Lights. The Christmas parade is that first Thursday in December. We have candlelight shopping every Thursday night, and just don't want to wait till after the fact. Our streets guys and our public works employees are second to none. And I hope somebody's seeing this online. Those guys are awesome, and I appreciate every bit of work that they do, and it means the world to our downtown. And then the last thing, I had the Teen Advocacy Board here as well earlier. We're looking at doing a teen court. I'd mentioned it about 6 months ago. We've started the wheels in motion with the partnership and with the Teen Advocacy Board, starting to work with a couple of the judges and public defenders, and hopefully we'll be able to move some of our juvenile issues here, and that'd be probably a once a month setting, argued by teenagers, judged by teenagers with one adult volunteer, kind of keeping the peace. So we're working on that right now. That being said, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
So moved.
A motion by Mr. Little, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Bradley. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign.